It's 2 a.m., you're staring at the ceiling, your room is dark, your body is exhausted, but your brain just pulled up a memory from 3 years ago. A conversation, maybe something you said at a party, maybe the way someone looked at you after you made a joke. And now you're lying there, running the entire thing on loop, rewriting your lines, analyzing their tone, wondering if they still think about it too. You finally fall asleep at 4 a.m. You wake up tired, and somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet voice whispers, "What is wrong with me?" Society has an answer for that, by the way. It calls you anxious, neurotic, a worrywart. Self-help culture tells you to just let it go. Meditation apps tell you to quiet your mind. Friends tell you to stop thinking so much. The message is consistent and it is everywhere. Your brain is broken. Fix it. But here's the thing. What if your brain isn't broken? What if the very thing that keeps you up at night is also the thing that makes you one of the most perceptive, prepared, and deeply intelligent people in any room you walk into? What if I told you that overthinking isn't a disease? It's an evolutionary superpower that your ancestors literally died to pass down to you? Let's talk about that. Go back roughly 100,000 years. Picture one of your ancestors on the African savanna. It's dusk. The grass is moving. There's a sound, a low rustle coming from somewhere to the left. Now, there are two types of humans in this moment. The first one thinks, probably just the wind, and keeps walking. The second one stops. Their mind starts racing. What if it's not the wind? What if it's a lion? What if I move left, it cuts me off? What if I run? Does that trigger the chase instinct? What if I... Here's where it gets interesting. The first human, the relaxed one, got eaten. The second one, the anxious, overthinking, worst-case scenario running human, survived, went home, had children, and passed that wiring straight down the genetic line to you. Psychologists and evolutionary biologists call this hypervigilance, a state of heightened sensory sensitivity and threat detection. It wasn't a glitch in the human operating system. It was a feature. The most carefully wired humans were the ones who made it. The ones who didn't overthink weren't relaxed. They were lunch. Think about that. Every time your brain refuses to let something go, every time it insists on running through every possible outcome of a conversation before you have it, every time it wakes you up at 2 a.m. to re-examine something you thought you'd already processed, that's an ancient alarm system doing exactly what it was built to do. It is trying to protect you. It has always been trying to protect you. The problem isn't the system. The problem is that the system was built for a world with lions, and you live in a world with emails and social dynamics and performance reviews. The threats changed. The brain didn't. Evolutionary psychologists call this an evolutionary mismatch. Ancient hardware running in a modern world. You're not broken. You're just running software that hasn't been updated in 100,000 years. And honestly, that software is extraordinary. Let's get into what's actually happening inside your skull. Because once you understand this, you will never look at your overthinking the same way again. There's a network in your brain called the default mode network, the DMN. Scientists discovered it almost by accident. They were studying brain activity and noticed something strange. When they told subjects to relax, to do nothing, to just rest, certain brains didn't power down. They lit up. For most people, rest means rest. The brain goes quiet. Background noise fades. But for overthinkers, when the external world goes quiet, the default mode network kicks into high gear. It starts doing something remarkable. It begins simulating. It runs mental models of future scenarios. It replays past events, not out of pointless obsession, but to extract data, to find the variable that was missed, to make sure next time goes better. Your brain, at rest, is doing what a supercomputer does when it's not processing your immediate environment. It is running background programs. It is analyzing risk. It is building a psychological map of every social interaction you've ever had so that it can protect you in the next one. That is not a flaw. That is a high-level background algorithm that most people's brains simply don't run. Here's the thing. Researchers have also found that elevated DMN activity is directly linked to higher levels of creativity, self-awareness, and what psychologists call theory of mind, the ability to model what other people are thinking and feeling. Your overthinking brain isn't just worrying. It's building simulations. It's doing advanced cognitive work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether you asked it to or not. You didn't choose this. You were wired this way. And the fact that it's exhausting doesn't mean it isn't extraordinary. So let's talk about what this actually gives you. Because there are 3 specific superpowers that overthinkers carry that most people will never fully develop. The first one is empathy, because you spend so much time analyzing behavior, your own and everyone else's. You've become exceptionally good at reading people. You catch micro expressions. You notice when someone says, "I'm fine," but their voice drops slightly at the end. You sense tension in a room before anyone else has consciously registered it. You don't just hear what people say, you hear what they mean. That is a rare and genuinely powerful gift, and it comes directly from a brain that never stops paying attention. The second superpower is crisis management. This one might surprise you. Overthinkers are often the calmest people in an actual emergency. Why? Because they've already been there. In their heads, the worst case scenario has played out hundreds of times. They've already processed the panic, run the options, chosen a course of action, all before the crisis ever happened. When disaster strikes and everyone else is frozen, the overthinker is already moving. Because to them, this isn't new. They've rehearsed it. The third superpower is deep problem solving. Most people look at a problem and see the surface. The overthinker looks at the same problem and sees 10 steps ahead. They see the second order consequences. They see the hidden variable no one else thought to account for. They see the solution that works not just today, but 6 months from now. That kind of thinking is exactly what companies pay enormous amounts of money to access. It's what great strategists, writers, therapists, and leaders are built from. You're not too much. You're operating at a resolution most people can't even perceive. So here's where I want to bring this back to you. Right now. Today. Stop going to war with your own brain. Stop treating your depth as a disorder. Stop apologizing for the fact that you feel things more. Think things through more. Notice things more. That is not a weakness wearing a mask. That is genuine cognitive sophistication, forged across hundreds of thousands of years of human survival. You don't overthink because something went wrong. You overthink because your brain processes the world in a higher resolution than most. And yes, sometimes that's exhausting. Yes, sometimes you wish you could just turn it off. That's real and that's valid. But the goal was never to destroy the superpower. The goal is to learn how to work with it instead of constantly fighting against it. You're not broken. You never were. You're just wired differently. And that wiring, when you finally stop fighting it, might be the most powerful thing about you. If this hit home for you, please subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel reach the people who need it most. And if you want to support these deep dives and be part of the community we're building here, hit that join button. It means more than you know. I'll see you in the next one.